What is up, guys? Welcome to this video. In this one, I wanted to talk about wise spending patterns for people who are into self-actualization or any form of personal growth. Now, a while ago, I decided to just sit down and write about what wise spending patterns are based off a lot of the knowledge that I've gathered, a lot of the awareness that I have, basically. And I have basically 5 main points that I'm going to be discussing in this video. And I also want to talk about a lot of the blocks to spending wisely. And I think nowadays it's very common for people to have very unwise spending patterns. I know that I personally have spent a lot of money on, let's say, Amazon, or even in person, buying things that I just don't really need, or just, being driven to purchase something based off of an emotion that isn't healthy, just an unhealthy pattern. And I've really cleaned up a lot of this kind of stuff inside of me. And in this video, I want to help you guys to do that too. Now, the main point of this video is going to be what is the most important stuff for a self-actualizing human to spend money on. And before I really even get to that, I just want to talk about some of the traps that you can even fall into. So online shopping, nighttime shopping, having boundaries and saying no, and watching out for how people try to separate you from your money. The very obvious one is online shopping, or at least I hope that's obvious. On a lot of these websites, people have actually hired, behavior analysts, basically behavioral scientists, to arrange things in a certain way so that you buy stuff. And this is just one way that people separate you from your money. People have actually hired psychologists to set up websites. Even our food is completely laced with this kind of stuff. We've set it up in such a way so that you develop an addiction to online shopping, or eating out, or spending money on whatever, like clothes you don't need. We are not very conscious of how people are manipulating our attention in order to get us to act in impulsive and reactive ways. And confronting this is extremely important for being able to spend money in a wise way. And I want to make this practical. This isn't some theoretical thing. We all know that there's people out there who want to separate you from your money so that they can have money. This doesn't require any real intelligence to understand that. The actual intelligence comes with what is happening practically, mainly with the emotional patterns that are controlling you to do certain things, the emotional patterns that are actually driving you to hand people your money when deep down, you shouldn't, or, you're just distracted, kind of thoughtless, kind of foggy, and then you're spending money online. So online shopping is obviously a huge trap. Nighttime shopping, when you're kind of foggy, you don't have the most clarity, that's obviously a time to avoid shopping. You kind of have to just cut that one out. Having boundaries and saying no, people will try and push products on you, and you actually have to have enough just boundaries, a basic sense of personal boundary, and just being able to say no to someone. Like, I don't want to buy the thing that you're trying to sell me. One time, 2 guys walked up to me, and they were very nice to me, suspiciously nice to me, and it was kind of just odd. It's an odd encounter, and they gave me a book, and I started to just read through it. It was on just health, well-being, and foods that fight disease. And then they said that I can have the book if I donate, I think it was $25. And immediately, in the back of my mind, I just started laughing because I'm not donating money. You guys want me to buy a product. I don't know why you even use the word donate. And I just told them no. And then, that was it. But they were pushy about it, and they try and make you feel guilty for saying no. And you have to just obviously say no. And that's it. Just don't feel any shame or guilt in telling someone no, which a lot of people actually struggle with. And it's important to really become self-aware of the repressed shame and guilt inside of you that drives you to want to please another person, to just get along with people. Sometimes it's best to start a little bit of conflict, to debate something, to argue something, to say no. Now, another one is watching out for how people try to separate you from your money. There's a great book you can read. It's called Spent. I think I actually have it right here. It's right here, Spent, Sex, Evolution, and Consumer Behavior. That one is fantastic. A lot of the food we eat is designed to get us addicted. McDonald's, A&W, fast food in general, I'll just leave it at that, has a lot of, salt, sugar, fat, protein. This kind of stuff is what our ancestors, however many years ago, would eat. And this was basically, we've evolved in such a way so that our whole our mind latches onto these things so that we can survive. Because salt, sugar, fat, protein helped our ancestors to survive however many years ago. And we have a lot of those same mechanisms driving us today. And a lot of the foods are really filled up with the specific things that trigger forms of addiction and just impulsivity within you. And it's been very carefully designed by psychological experts so that people can make money. And of course, if you want to really feel good in your life, you want to grow, you want to, self-actualize, you probably shouldn't be getting addicted to, of course, like foods, stuff like that, unhealthy foods, unhealthy spending patterns. Now, moving on, it's important that whenever you notice a spending pattern in your life, and I want you to really notice one that you have in your life. Maybe you shop a bit too much on Amazon, maybe you buy too much clothes, maybe you buy too much books. Guilty of that. It's important to keep in mind what emotions are actually driving you to purchase what you bought and when. Basically, when you're buying something, just notice what you're actually feeling when you make the decision to go buy the thing that you're buying. Maybe you're just bored and you go buy something on Amazon. I've definitely done that before. I'm just kind of bored, or I'm a bit distracted, and I'm just on Amazon now. And now, I see a book and I buy it. But, the whole emotional pattern behind purchasing the book, you might look at that from an outside point of view and say, hey, this guy likes to read. But the emotional pattern behind looking at the book or buying the book isn't exactly the best. Although purchasing a book and reading it, of course, that's great. But a lot of the emotions that drove that action aren't exactly the best and are really just going to cause suffering in our life. And I don't know about you, but I don't really want to suffer in pointless ways. So noticing the emotional patterns related to spending. Maybe you withhold a lot of your money. Maybe you don't even spend enough money. You're just keeping it secure in an account and you're scared to spend it. That's another one. Why are you so anxious and worryful and just too scared to spend money on something that is going to help you in your relationships? A lot of people I know don't even buy a book on relationships because it's $20. It's like, dude, this isn't like this is one of the smartest things you can do in your life. It's going to be very difficult for you to understand, let's say, your girlfriend or boyfriend if you don't read 10 books on relationships. This is really going to screw you over. And the fact that, you're not wise enough to spend $200 on very deep, profound wisdom and knowledge on human relationships, this is just a blunder. This is a careless mistake in life. You were just too short-sighted and too stupid to realize that I have to read books on relationships because getting along with people is difficult. Understanding personality types is different. Understanding human needs is, oh man, did I say different? I meant difficult. Understanding personality types is difficult. Understanding different personality types is difficult. Understanding different human needs is difficult. Understanding what makes the best relationship is difficult. Understanding what qualities you have to develop in yourself to maintain passion throughout the course of a long-term relationship is difficult. These aren't just obvious things. Understanding what makes a person compatible with another person is not an obvious thing. This is a difficult thing to understand, and you would be wise to read a book on it. Understanding female psychology is not a simple thing. This is very difficult. Understanding male psychology is a difficult thing. And really, spending money on these things is not like you're just losing money. Okay, like you can't think of this as like you're just losing money. I'm losing $20 for some book. This is an investment into the rest of your life and will help you to be successful, not just in an intimate relationship, but talking to any human that you come across. Because you'll understand what drives them, the kinds of emotions that they typically are feeling, why. You'll have more empathy, you'll be more emotionally intelligent, and emotional intelligence is extremely important for success, I think even more than IQ. So it's really important to notice what drives you when you're spending and when you're not spending. So a spending pattern doesn't just involve giving your money away, but also why you're withholding resources as well. Because a lot of people are too just scared to spend. They think that just spending money is just losing money. They think it's it's equivalent to just losing money, which isn't true. Spending money on books is not just losing money. This is going to pay you back in ways that you can't even dream of. And you'll probably end up making more money because you read a lot of books. You'll have high quality strategies for making money because you just read books on it. So you can't be too stingy with your resources, and you can't give them away unconsciously and in careless ways. So you have to be strategic, calculated, and also emotionally competent to really have a wise spending pattern. Because too many people either swing one way or the other. Too many people either spend too much or they don't spend enough on the right things. Now, health in this context is important. We want healthy spending patterns. Wise in this context means basically what is the healthiest thing for my body, emotions, mind, and basically awareness. What is going to foster growth rather than foster disease? And it's important to look at what I'm going to be saying in terms of what is healthy and not what is like morally right or good or bad. I don't care about that stuff. You debate that on your own time. I care about what's actually just healthy for you. Now, an obvious one, or I hope is obvious, is not to spend more money than, of course, what you can afford. I don't even really think I have to say this. I basically trust that you're smart enough to notice that. Don't spend money that you don't have. Don't go into debt. This is obviously stupid. If you have $20, don't spend $300 and have credit card debt and, you rack up a huge debt. So, that's obvious. But now getting into a lot of the stuff that you should be spending your money on if you're self-actualizing. This is the most important stuff. Now, I'm gonna get a red marker for this one. Now, the first one, and it's really unavoidable that you spend money on this, is need gratification. Now, what does this mean? This can mean a lot of things. It can mean spending money on food. That's need gratification. You need food to live. So, of course, what kinds of food are you buying? You have to buy the healthier foods, fruits, vegetables, fruit smoothies, stuff like that, because this will give you clarity and a lot of other stuff, and it's going to help you self-actualize versus burgers and way too much meat, stuff like this. This might not be the best decision for you. This might make you kind of slow, a little bit foggy, maybe a little bit lethargic. It's not as clear as eating light, eating well, and eating what your body actually needs. So everyone's different. I can't tell you exactly what you need. You have to figure that out for yourself, but you have to be receptive enough to your body to know what it actually needs in order to be well. And you actually have to research that and maybe even visit a doctor and see what nutrients you do and don't have enough of, or just see what you could possibly be deficient in. So that can help. So need gratification also has a lot to do with relationships. Like I talked about, buying books on relationships. There's a lot of fantastic questions you can ask on relationships that matter. They're very practical. This isn't a very philosophical, abstract topic. This is your life I'm talking about. You can ask, of course, I've already asked a few, like, what are the most important qualities for maintaining long-term passion in a relationship? A lot of them involve humor, creativity, and intelligence. These are very important. So I basically gave you the answer for a little bit of that, but there's more that I hope you see that there's more that you can understand on that. It's not enough to just be satisfied with the answer I gave you. You have to get really curious about this and how to develop it within yourself. Also, how do I know who's most compatible with me? What types of people will be most compatible with me? What personality types? What levels of development? This is also very important. It's important to realize why people don't even get along, what starts fights, what emotional trauma drives behavior in relationships and fighting and conflict, stuff like this. Now, need gratification also has to do with self-esteem, maybe buying a gym membership and going to the gym. This is great. This is a great thing to spend money on, just actually go to the gym. Buying books, of course, is very important, but that's a later point that I have. Now, buying unnecessary stuff is something that is basically inevitable in your life. You will probably, if you're honest enough, you will notice that you have, at some point in your life, have had or still have unwise spending pattern. And in order to actually have a wise spending pattern, you're gonna have to do something called learn. And this brings us to my second point. This brings us into education. Education. Now, the whole question of what is a wise spending pattern is not a simple thing. It's not like you just already know what a wise spending pattern is. You actually have to sit down and contemplate it like I did in order to have a better understanding of it, because there's depths and degrees of understanding. So education is insanely important. You buy books on relationships, like I said, and notice that all these points are going to go together. They're not like these very separate points. They're all connected, and they're going to drive your life in a certain direction that's going to be very healthy. It's going to help you to feel good. So education is important. Understanding the differences, let's say, between the liberal psyche and the conservative psyche. This is very important for getting along with people, for understanding society, understanding who you vote for and why. Education, let's talk about, let's say, social intelligence or emotional intelligence, or let's look at some books here. Reinventing organizations, psychology, of course. This kind of stuff is really important. Just understanding the world around you, understanding various perspectives, having a very open mind, understanding Buddhism, to science, to Christianity, to psychology, to physics, biology, philosophy, Albert Einstein, to Jesus Christ, to Buddha, to Plotinus, to, why humans deceive each other and lie, and, the origins of deception. I have a book right here. I think you guys can see it. Denial. Very great one. Even the elephant in the brain, hidden motivations in everyday life. We're getting books on psychotherapy, learning about emotional well-being and trauma. watching videos as well, spending money on courses that help you with this as well. So education, spending money on education is one of the smartest things that you can actually spend your money on. This is probably the best one. This is insanely important. I mean, of course, spending money on need gratification like food, you have to. But spending money on books and then actually reading the book is very important, and this is very practical. You actually give the person your $20 and then you read the book. You read books on relationships. You read Getting the Love You Want, or The Way of the Superior Man, or Dear Lover, or Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, or It's a Guy Thing, or what else do I even have? I have way too much. I've read quite a lot of books on it. But you get my point. Getting books on even marketing, learning, let's say if you want to start a business, learn marketing. And even if you don't want to start a business, learn what marketing is, because everyone's marketing to you all the time. I'm marketing to you right now. This video is marketing. There's marketing in this. And it's important to understand what people are doing, what the hell is happening here, and not fill it up with beliefs. That's very important, but to fill it up with genuine investigation, genuine answers, genuine understanding, and being open to change a lot of what you think. This is very important because our beliefs close down our mind and restrict our ability to understand the world around us. Our beliefs lock us into a very narrow and closed way of thinking, and we all have a lot of beliefs that we don't even know we have, which affect our lives in very practical ways, like the ways that we feel, the ways that, we relate to people, in the things that we do, in the foods that we eat. And this affects our success in business, our success in relationships, our success in our emotional health and well-being, our success in our ability to grow and develop ourselves. So spending money on education is very important. Now, the next one is number 3. Spending to make. Spending to make. Spending money to make money. I hope you can see spending to make. Spending money on ways that help you to make money. Spending money on, let's say, a camera if you want to record a YouTube video about the topics that you're passionate about, and then maybe, let's say, it's my computer, offer some services. Or let's say you want to be a musician. You spend money on a piano, and then that can help you to make money. Or let's say you want to start up a business, but first you need some important interpersonal skills. Once again, buying a book on social intelligence, charisma, look at this, influence. I think it's the art of persuasion, the psychology of persuasion. These are all very important. And notice how they all go together. All these go together. Need gratification, education, spending money to make money. It all goes together. Spending money on a tank of gas so you can get to work is a way to spend money to make money. You have to spend money on gas so that you can go to work and make money. But there's a lot of other ways that you can spend to make money, like spending money on a high quality computer so that you can edit your photography, the photos that you take with the camera that you bought, and then you can, sell them or do whatever. That part you got to fill in. I don't know enough about how to make money as a photographer, but you get the point. Spending money on also your passion. That's spoiler alert, topic number 5, point number 5. But spending money on ways to earn more money are very important. And it's not enough to just care about obviously earning money. We also have to care about how does the money get made? And are we helping people to be healthy, or are we doing a disservice to people? Because a lot of the way that money gets made is not healthy. It's a lot of manipulation, exploitation, basically making people feel scared, anxious, reactive, and irritated so that they give you money unconsciously and sort of like in a knee-jerk reaction kind of way. Selling Coca-Cola or a lot of, let's say, just like these soft, like these kinds of drinks, or these fast foods, this kind of stuff, obviously isn't healthy for you. And are you making money in a way that is contributing to the well-being of mankind or not contributing to the well-being of mankind? And you can basically think about that one for yourself. But questioning who does this actually harm is very important. Who does it help? Yeah, we all like to think about who we're helping. Everyone can think of someone who they're helping when they make money, but no one really likes to think about who they're actually harming when they're spending money or when they're making money. Like, of course, we've probably all heard of, young people in sweatshops getting paid next to no money to make the shirt that I have on right now. But we're not very practical about it. Like, a lot of the ways that you and I are gonna make money, they're gonna affect other people. Basically, always it's gonna affect someone else. We're gonna have to add value to someone in order to make money. And it's very important to recognize the positives and the negatives of how we are going to be making money. And we need money, obviously, in order to live. So there's no way of getting around making money. If you don't have money, you're going to end up on the street, basically. There's no way really around that. And it's also important to realize that wanting money is not a shallow thing. It's not like you're shallow for wanting money, or that wanting a lot of money is something that you should feel guilty about. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make a lot of money. That's a great thing. But what's more important is noticing the emotional drives behind why you want to make money. And the reason why I say that's more important is because a lot of the motivations we have around making money can just be to get us to distract ourselves from, of course, insecurities or fear, worry, anxiety, stuff like that. And I find it very important to really recognize the motivations behind why we're actually doing the things that we're doing. Now, of course, I really want to drive this point home. Don't feel guilty about wanting to make money. Don't think of it as shallow or bad, or that like money is just the root of all evil. Money's how you're going to live, and it's very important to really consciously think about money, how you're going to relate to it, spending patterns, how you're going to make it, who it's going to affect, things like this. These are important questions if you want to live the best life. So who, of course, does it help? Who does it harm? Things like this are important. How does the money get made? Is the work actually productive? Is it actually doing something, to raise mankind's consciousness, make us, well as a species, like healthy as a species? Or is it driving our most sort of low quality instincts that basically destroy our body, destroy our relationships, destroy our brains, our minds, things like this? So spending money to make money in healthy ways is a very wise thing to spend money on, and that can obviously be anything. Of course, like I said, you can buy a piano if you're a pianist, and then, get good at playing the piano, get some skills, go out, people tip you, you entertain people, you love it, things like that. You become a pianist. You maybe even become a piano teacher, and you teach people how to play the piano, and then you get paid for it. Or a photographer, or a painter, or anything. It doesn't have to be some sort of artistic outlet, some sort of, stereotypical artistic outlet. It can even just be a business on, I don't know, like lumber or something, like you can really, you have to really personalize the information that I'm saying. You have to really relate it to your life very practically and your personality type and your preferences. So, like I said, a lot of the ways that we make money are not done in healthy ways. They're mainly done in unhealthy ways. They're done in ways that actually harm people, that make people basically stupid, that, make people unhealthy, that make people unclear, that make people confused, that perpetuate human suffering. This is how large portions of the world's money is made. And if you don't consciously think about this stuff, you will unconsciously contribute to this mess, really. You will, by default, if you want to survive, you'll have to, go along with it, which ideally you don't really want to do. Although you might have to do quite a bit of it. Like even very minor things like working at a grocery store and selling pop, like soda. Is that making people healthy or not? Are you profiting off people's, health deteriorating? Yeah, you're selling drinks that are unhealthy for them. See how it's even these minor things. It doesn't have to be so large and extravagant and far away from everyday life. It's very practical. It's right there when you walk into the grocery store to buy food. So of course, spending money to make money in healthy ways, we have to take this into consideration. And the reason why I'm drilling this point home so much is because a lot of people who like spirituality or personal growth, like large portions of people don't take money seriously enough, in the sense that they don't really realize how important it actually is to make money. Because a large portion of the beliefs people have around money is that like it's shallow, or that you're just like a greedy businessman, but that's really not it. You can make money in very conscious ways, and money is going to be around for a long time. And we have to learn how to relate to it in a healthy way, instead of, just developing beliefs that shun it, but then, oh man, we still need it to go to the store and buy water. Moving on, necessary entertainment. Now, this is another one that is not very popular in a lot of personal growth sort of circles, stuff like that. But entertainment is something you need, like listening to music, playing a game, even reading a book can be entertaining, of course. But I mean like unplugging entirely from personal growth, just entirely. And there's a lot of healthy ways to entertain yourself and a lot of unhealthy ways. Of course, I'm sure a lot of us are very familiar with the unhealthy ways: scrolling on social media for 5 hours, porn, playing 12 hours of video games, eating junk food. This is very obvious, but I want to talk a bit more about some healthy ways to entertain yourself. Of course, you can go for a walk. That's fine. But there's a lot of things that you're probably going to spend money on in your life that are associated with entertainment, like a Netflix subscription, or games of some kind, video games or board games. A lot of this stuff is great. There's a lot of great stuff on Netflix actually that you can watch. A lot of stuff that's probably not so great either. But a lot of entertainment is necessary. The human mind really does need to entertain itself sometimes and just have some fun and just loosen up. So buying even a skateboard, go skateboarding, or a bike, or a chess set. I recently bought a $70 chess set with a $30 timer. I've been playing a lot on chess.com. I love the game. It's really fun. And that's been my main source of entertainment for quite a bit of time now. And, playing chess is a relatively healthy form of entertainment. Relative to eating junk food, playing chess looks like, it's a way healthier way to, entertain yourself. Very fun game. I always blunder my queen though. Yeah, no, I'm not that bad at the game. I'm getting pretty good. But, of course, even buying an instrument is a great way to entertain yourself. Spending money to go to the zoo. Spending money to take someone out on a date. This is great. And once again, Notice the connection with all of this stuff. Notice how it's all very connected. It's not like these are separate from each other. They all intertwine. Spending money to go to an art museum. Spending money to, I don't know, take a trip to a faraway nature reserve that you've never been to before and you see some beautiful wildlife or something like that. These are all healthy ways to entertain yourself, and they're very important because you're going to entertain yourself. You're going to be entertaining yourself probably quite a lot in life. Entertainment is very natural for humans. Maybe, dancing, singing, stuff like this. Playing music, spending money on music, spending money on a record player, on a phone that plays music, on a Spotify premium subscription. Things like this. And, I'm not really including books on my sort of entertainment list, even though it is. But usually the way a lot of self-actualizers read books is not like for just entertainment. It's usually more associated, it is a very playful activity, but it's also very work-related for a lot of self-actualizers. It's usually you're reading something, you're growing, you're developing, and you need just to sort of get away. You need to just get away sometimes from wanting to grow or develop, and then just relax and just remain comfortable sometimes. You can't always push yourself. It's not sustainable. You gotta just unplug and just rest and play a game of chess with your friends on a Saturday night or Friday night like I did yesterday. And really, it's important to not view things in like a sort of, this is shallow or this is bad kind of perspective, but just more from a perspective of what is actually healthy. What is healthy to do? Because it's inevitable that you're going to have to make money, that you're going to have to entertain yourself. And ideally, we want to do this in healthy ways, And if we just think that, entertainment is bad, making money is shallow, stay on the grind 24/7, this isn't practical, you're going to burn out, you're going to be in pain. And really, there's a lot of valuable skills that you can learn from a lot of this stuff. It's funny how the actual boundary separating rest from growth, or let's say just even remaining comfortable versus being productive and expanding your comfort zone, the actual boundary between those two is rather thin. Like you can learn how to play an instrument, and that can be a form of, entertainment. And you can make some money doing it. You can make, let's say, loops online. I used to make a lot of instrumentals online. I've sold quite a few. You can make instrumentals, sell them online, lessons, stuff like this, videos on the internet, courses, things like that. Chess, you can learn that. That's a pretty fun skill. It's very fun to play with people. It's a great game. So, you got to really think outside the box with this stuff and notice that you're going to be participating in it either way, unless you move to a hut in the middle of a forest and live your life there for the rest of, your days. Moving on, the next one is passion. Passion. Like I said, point number 5 is passion. I already spoiled it. Spending money on your passion. I think this is absolutely essential for self-actualizers because there's such a joy to creating something that you're actually proud of. There's such a profound joy that comes with spending money on something that is worthwhile to you and that makes your heart sing, that makes your heart beat out of your chest because you are so excited by it. I remember I was reading some humanistic psychology a little bit of time ago, maybe about a month ago, and like my whole body was in so much pleasure because I love it so much. And I bought a book, and it might have been like $20, and I was reading it, and it's obviously completely worth the money. It's just a wise thing to spend your money on if you want to grow and develop. This video is designed for self-actualizers. So spending money on your passion, of course, is necessary. If your passion is playing guitar, of course, getting guitar lessons or a course, buying a course, or, who knows, buying different kinds of guitars, acoustic, electric, things like this, or even, whatever you spend your money on that is related to your passion, whatever it can be. Buying different kinds of cameras, if you're a photographer, for different kinds of, environments or settings or something like that. Or, if you're a painter, spending money, of course, on like a canvas, a good, set of, painting tools like brushes, paint, things like this. Spending money related to what you feel as though is your most natural calling in life is incredibly important and fulfilling. And basically being too stingy with your resources and not buying these things is really a blunder in life. It's a careless mistake. Spending, being too scared to buy the amount of, food you need, obviously is stupid, but not spending, enough money on the books you need to be deeply intelligent, like actually deeply intelligent, not just telling yourself that you're intelligent, but like actually buying a book written by Albert Einstein and like actually reading it, or buying books on relationships by, dating experts and, psychology experts and reading them, or by buying books on anything, like not spending enough money on the education that you need to really understand the world around you and love it and love the world is a blunder. And these really go together. As I actually learn about how the world works, I actually fall in love with it simultaneously. All the things that people ordinarily think are bad or evil, I actually come to understand them, and I have a sense of tranquility and equanimity towards them because I understand, a lot of why people behave the way that they behave. I can really begin to get, why things are happening instead of just knee-jerk reacting to them. Because I've spent enough money on education, I've spent enough time and energy, wanting to figure things out so that, my relationship to life can radically change and be a lot more healthy and pleasant. Spending money to make money, yep. Entertainment, passion. So these are the 5 points. If you're too stingy with your resources, you don't buy this stuff, you're going to be missing out. You're just going to be missing out on really your full potential. You're not going to have the education you need. You're not going to be getting your needs gratified in the healthiest way. You're not really going to entertain yourself in healthy ways. You're not going to discover your passion in life. It can literally be anything. It can be cooking. It can even be taking care of your family. You can actually just make that your passion. If that's what your passion is, you love to take care of your family. Yeah, learn how to cook or relate to them the best, their personalities, things like that. You got to really think about it. Just sit down and dedicate time to think about it. If you're not spending money to make money, well, then you're kind of screwed. Earning money always requires you to also spend some. Just to get to work, you have to buy gas. Just to get to work, you have to buy clothes. I hope you go to work wearing clothes. So in order to make money, you really need to already have some and have spent some on the necessary things to get more of it. You need the skills. Learning the skills you need for certain jobs requires certain forms of education, certain experience. You have to. Being too stingy with your resources to the point where you're too stupid to buy a book that's $20 that'll save you years of banging your head against a wall and suffering and confusion. Really, this is just an error. When I see someone who says, oh, this book's $20, I don't want to buy it, but it's like the best book I've ever read on relationships, it's just foolish. It's just dumb. It's just a fantasy that you will succeed in relationships, for example, if you don't read a book on them. What's going to happen is you're going to make a lot of errors, you're going to have a lot of misunderstanding, and you're going to learn through suffering, which is going to hurt. It's not, maybe you want it. Personally, it's not what I want. It's also very humble to realize that you need help in life, that you are not smart enough to navigate life, and that you have to read books written by experts in psychology, in sociology, in relationships, in business, that there are people who just know more than you about very important things, and that you need help. That you actually just need help from people. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just very important to recognize that, and then to actually seek the knowledge that they're giving away for $20. A person's entire, people have entire, their whole life's work. Like the core and the wisdom of like their whole life, like summarized into like $100 worth of books or $200 worth of books. Like that is a pretty profound thing. People can think, oh, I don't want to spend $200, but it's not, you're not losing the money. You're actually gaining a lot of important skills, understanding, wisdom in actually reading the books and spending the money. It's an investment into your life. It's not just money flying out the window. So being too stingy is an error. Spending carelessly on Amazon at 2 a.m. is also an error. And you have to really notice the emotional patterns around spending. You have to notice how your insecurities keep you from purchasing, let's say, a book that you actually need. Or let's say your distracted mind and your anxiety is driving you to, let's say, shop online because you're just bored, maybe anxious, or whatever. You want to distract yourself. So a lot of these patterns, all of them really, are emotionally driven, and we have to actually seek to understand the emotions that drive us and really be honest and authentic in our approach to life, our relationship to this situation, our relationship to our spending patterns. Spending patterns are not a very simple thing to actually just figure out. You don't just already know what a wise spending pattern consists of. And I think it's very important to actually admit to yourself that you spend unwisely very often. You've probably bought a lot of stupid stuff in your life that doesn't matter and that you're sick of. Probably, you wish you just never spent money on it in the first place. So actually creating yourself to be a human that has wise spending patterns is a whole other task from actually determining what a wise spending pattern actually is. And that's it for this video. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. And other than that, take it easy.